So someone was asking me the other day what the like the biggest hurdle as being a first-time home buyer
Yeah.
is, and I used to say down payment and credit and that kind of stuff. But I think in this market, it's competition.
It is, because when you have multiple offers on a home and you have two offers that are exactly the same, but one is a conventional buyer and one is a FHA buyer, the sellers are usually going to always pick that conventional buyer.
Yeah.
Or the cash buyer. We're seeing so many cash deals right now.
I hate cash.
Amazing how many
Cash
cash
sucks.
deals I'm seeing right now.
Well, it used to be 25% of the market was cash. You think that's higher now?
I feel like it's higher.
Is it?
I'm just seeing a lot more of it.
So let's say you have a first-time home buyer, and they're putting down the minimum, but their offer is $5,000 over a conventional buyer putting down 20%. As a listing agent, which one of those deals is going to get picked? Is it a hard choice?
It makes it a little more difficult. You got to look at the whole contract, though. You have to look at what does the seller actually net after all is said and done.
Yeah.
I think as a listing agent, we would have a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Honest conversation about potential pitfalls with going with an FHA versus a conventional buyer.
Well, what if it was $20,000 over asking price? Both buyers $20,000 over asking price.
Okay.
FHA borrower putting minimum down is $5,000 higher than the conventional. Does that change things because you're so far? Like, are you afraid that if the appraisal comes in short, the conventional buyer has the money to
Yes.
make it work versus
Absolutely.
our FHA buyers just going to have to
Absolutely.
walk away, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's funny, a lot of sellers, FHA loans, they have their guidelines to get through. When I'm listing homes, I'm always looking for little red flags that could possibly come up on the appraisal.
Right.
But they really have a bad stigma with sellers. And sometimes just trying to overcome that,
Right.
FHA loans are so difficult and we're going to run into so many issues. You have to really work to get a seller to get that out of their head and realize they're not always as hard as you think they are.
They certainly have come a long way. I remember back in the day, every little thing they were writing up. Handrails on
Yes.
steps, which they still sometimes kind of do,
Yeah.
depending. But it was, you just have a laundry list.
Right.
But they're not quite that bad anymore.
I've noticed they've seemed to have lightened up a little bit, but it also depends on the appraiser.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned the handrail. I haven't seen that in a long, long, long time. And all of a sudden I got like two of them in a row.
Did you?
Yeah.
And that's just a pain.
Right.
If someone told me I needed a handrail on my steps, I wouldn't know where to get one. I'm not a handy person.
You know what? You get some 2x4s and you tack it up together and voila.
It's a little wobbly, but it passes.
But it passes.
There hadn't been a handrail on those steps for 30 years, but God,
But
we
got
need one now.
now.
How's the year shaping up? Is it you thinking it's going to be as good of a year as it was last year?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Even with this inventory, is that gonna? Are we just gonna run out of houses to buy at some point?
It's funny you say that because I'm like, people, come on, you got to get your house on the market.
Right.
I think as long as us realtors are doing our job and continuing to turn over the rocks and find the listings
Sure.
and get creative in finding more listings,
Right.
I think we can keep things rolling.
Yeah.
We're coming into that spring market now too. So we are, just by nature, we're going to see more stuff come on the market.
Yeah.
As you know, Thrive has a fantastic loan product that allows us some flexibility with folks that have a home to sell first.
You're right. Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but,
Pat
and
myself-
that's
we'll
been
pat ourselves on
helpful.
the back. That's a pretty cool product.
That's an awesome product. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to about that product, and they're just amazed at what a cool loan product that is.
Yeah. So can I tell the folks out there what that product's about?
Please do, because it's really cool.
So if a seller has a house that they want to sell, or maybe they're not a seller yet, maybe they're just, they're driving by the neighborhood and they see the house of their dreams. They haven't even thought to put their house on the market yet, but they can't afford 2 payments.
Right.
This product will allow them to buy the house that they want with nothing down, and we don't count their current house payment against them.
which is huge.
That's huge because
huge.
you know your traditional bridge loan and your traditional blanket, you still have to count both payments against them.
Right.
And so you know we've removed that hurdle, and of course they need to have their house listed to close on this loan.
Right.
They need to list it at a reasonable price.
Right.
And they need to list it with you.
Absolutely. Of course.
But yeah, this allows them to write that offer non-contingent, and because no one's accepting a contingent offer nowadays.
Oh
are
gosh,
they?
no. No.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. There's no need to.
Right.